This week we're going to be talking about technology and its influence on teaching and learning. When we think about technology, it's important to understand our own use of technology and our relationship to it. There's been a massive, in the last decade, transformation of how we use communication tools, how we do research, how we find and look for information. And it's had a very dramatic influence on the way we teach and learn and what the expectations are in terms of student engagement and how faculty or teachers facilitate learning. So, we're going to overview some of the key changes in terms of technology and communication. And the first step is to really think about your own role or relationship with technology. And sometimes that goes along generational characteristics, and sometimes it doesn't. But if you take a look at this bulleted list, where would you place yourself in terms of your use of technology and your comfort level with technology? Let's first talk about the term technology. Technology has not always been in the world of electronics and digital. When we invented a pen or a pencil, that was a technology. And it was not too long ago that the technology used for teaching was literally the pen and paper, and the format was an expert or sage on the stage delivering the wisdom and information to the students. And that has pretty much gone upside down because of the influence of technology. If we think about knowledge as power, in days when you went to the library and to the dusty back rooms and the books to find out information, you relied on your teachers to be the experts because they were the ones who spent the time learning that information. Or you relied on the elders in your family, your great grandma, to show you how to make the best pie in the world. Now, the people who have access to technology, who can Google and navigate the internet with facility, they have the ones who have more of the power to access information. And because this has happened so rapidly, it has unnerved and disturbed the traditional structures of our educational system. And we are still trying to grapple with what kinds of influences has that had and what are our expectations with teaching as a teacher and students as learners. So, generational characteristics are not the only influences to how we learn, though that is one thing we will focus on. We can certainly tackle the question of learning styles from a variety of angles, but for this class, we're really looking at what are some of the generational characteristics that have influenced our expectation of learners and teachers. Now, we've already talked about some of the characteristics that we have gained from a cohort experience. And it's important to reflect on week one. What were some of the influences during the formative years that have shaped you and have shaped your students in terms of how they approach information, how they approach learning, and what their expectations are? So, thinking of these formative years now in the framework of technology influences is how we want to look at this week's topic. We want to look at what even created the generational theories in the first place. And there were generational influences that, based upon the formative years, really impacted the life stage or the current conditions in the life stage influenced the development of values and preferences. And it was really the marketing institutions that wanted to find out about this huge generation that emerged, which would be the baby boomers after World War II. So, thinking if they could figure out the core values or preferences of this large population, they would be able to understand how to market and develop products for them. Now, of course, since that time, we've also taken a look at how do these generational influences change the way each generation approaches work or approaches learning and teaching. And so, just to give a little bit of a framework, that the original generational theories came about because it was a tactic from the businesses to figure out how we could tap into that as a potential money opportunity. So, we're going to talk about the generational gaps, and I'd love for you to get into the discussion forum and share your thoughts about technology and its influence on you as a learner and a teacher.